Hey everyone, and welcome to the EiEi Podcast. In my progressive attempt to rename the podcast subtly. So this is episode 14, and we're talking about what makes a good monkey ball level. So I'm a Kardino monkey ball PhD.
I am GregCubed, graduate of Monkey Ball University.
I am Jeff, and I can already answer it. Just make sure the year is not after 2003 or whatever the last good monkey ball game was.
True.
I'm Ninjastar. I'm the dropout of the group. I failed my monkey ball exams.
Your exam C.
Hey, there's always next year, though, right? I mean,
Ninja failed the exam C test.
I wrote my thesis on why Engage is the best one. That's why.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Tay, this is where you introduce yourself.
And I'm ProTayToe, always monkey ballin'. Never could beat any of the exam levels.
Well,
Damn.
so I guess where we should start is what are some levels that you guys all found particularly memorable? I guess we'll start with good. What are some particularly good levels you guys remember? I guess I'll start with Ninja.
I like the one in Expert. I think it's called like Curvature. It's the one in the ice area, which is like it's just a series of turns until you get like to a super fin one and goes into the goal.
Classic.
I think that one's super fun.
I like that one.
I think that one's
That was
really
very
good.
fun,
It's
but
one of my
very
favorites.
infuriating.
Yeah, but like
Yeah.
it's in a
How
fun
many
way.
times have we all died on that last turn?
I like levels that require precision with the game controller. They don't work that well in Banana Mania, though.
That's
because
very true.
It's Banana Mania.
Oh, God.
I will
no.
say though, the one problem I had with Expert 32 is where like, you know, you fall off at the end and then it takes like 40 seconds to get back to where you were. That's my only real problem with that stage, but I guess technically it's still good. I don't know. Jeff, what's yours?
I mean, I'm going to go with the classic. I like Exam C.
Exam C. I guess
I
technically
think
it's a
Exam
good
C is
stage.
like one of the... It's a great stage. It's just placed really poorly in the game, but if it was like Expert, 50 or something, I think it would be really good. I like stages that kick your ass in a little bit. I like when it's like difficult and you have to get good at it.
I actually kind of like the placement because it's like you think it's like, oh, this game's so easy, then you hit Exam C, it's like, oh wait.
I think there should be more levels like that where it's like, I mean, everyone talks about Exam C because it's memorable because of how hard it is. So, I mean, I'm just going to go with that classic. Someone had to say it eventually, I feel like. In this one.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like it would work better in Master mode. Like, if they
Yeah,
did
I
a
mean,
third
yeah,
level
there are a
Master or
couple
something,
levels
like,
you could use instead, because like, I don't know, you could replace it with Dodge Master. Actually, we should bring that up later,
Well,
but
yeah.
it's not a good stage.
Well, like I'm saying, I think the placement was all wrong, but I mean, the level itself I think is good.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it's just like, yeah, pretty much. It's just like, it's the hardest level in the game, I think. So it's just like,
Yeah.
there's no reason for it to be there.
I'd say Master has some more difficult ones.
You have Stamina Master would probably be harder, but
Maybe. There are some pretty hard Master stages, but I don't know. I feel like Expert 7's pretty bad. Like, not bad, but, difficult.
I guess what I'll go for is this might be controversial. Conical Slider. That one is perhaps one of the most infuriating monkey ball stages, but I'd actually argue it's
What
very
stage?
Conical Slider. It's Monkey Ball 2 Master 7, I believe, or whatever.
Me just, like, rapidly looking this up right now. Like,
It's the one where you have to roll down that long spiral ramp and jump out the warp go at the end.
It's not the I thought that was an Expert extra stage.
It might have been, but my point is like, the game has been introducing you to like, all of these warp goals and whatnot throughout the game, and you first use them regularly in Expert 1. You use them a few other times, like how momentum can carry over in Detour. You learn how to manipulate that momentum in Charge, and then the Conical Slider is kind of like the final kind of exam of that concept. You have to. It's really difficult. I don't know. I don't enjoy playing. I don't enjoy playing it technically, but like I enjoy the actual stage itself.
I don't know. I think it's.
I think it's like the final like evolution of like the levels from Monkey Ball 1, where it's literally just like a spiral. It's like that, but like to its very extreme.
No, I was gonna say, yeah. It's just like it's so hard because like you're going down. I think how it works, right? You're going down the spiral and it gets like thinner and thinner, and you're like balancing on it. But then at the end, they throw that curveball at you where you go through the portal and you have to like shoot out and aim perfectly onto like the goal. So it's like a double challenge. Like I remember when I first got to the bottom, I was like, oh, thank God, I'm done. And then it just, yeah.
I will make a note that they kind of like ruined it in Banana Mania by making it like way harder for no reason, but that's kind of cheating.
I don't remember it being so. Then again, when I played in Monkey Ball 2, you know, it was so hard. You know, I couldn't tell you if Banana Mania made it harder because that stage is completely skippable too. So, you know, it's like Helix. Like, yeah, it's technically a really hard stage, but you know, you really can just skip it. It's not that much of an issue. Anyway, I guess Greg, do you want to go?
Okay, if we're still going off of like ones that we found hard and memorable as a kid, or just like
what
in
stages?
general,
just in
like,
general, what stages did you like? You know, in a good way.
I don't know if I like it, but I will say like probably one of the hardest ones is Arthropod. I don't know if that's probably not a good stage though.
I would say it's not. I would say
it's a good stage.
I don't know.
I feel like it's memorable, but like for the wrong reasons.
One I really like. It's not really difficult, but wow, what is it called? It's like it's in Monkey Ball 2. It's the fourth level of advanced mode. It's in the volcano world and story mode. It's the one where you're going down like the
coaster?
Kind of another slide one.
Is it
the
coaster?
Twister, yeah.
Gravity
it's so
slider,
it's so fun. Like when you get it
coaster,
down
yeah.
where you can go like really fast, and then you shoot out at the end and like blast through the goal. Oh my god, that might be one of my favorites.
It's a really good one.
Not hard, but like, you know, it's like when you first get to it, you know, it's like easy because like you don't really know how to go fast, so it's just like you know, little zinger at the end with a tight path, but it's not bad. But yeah, once it's like easy to pick up, fun to master. That's like kind of the best kind of stages.
Yeah,
it's the game's way of teaching you how the momentum works in like kind of a fun way.
And it's really fun. Yeah, I think it's one of the most fun stages in Advanced to me. So that's just the first one that comes to mind.
All right, Tay, what do you like?
So for me, I have a hard time kind of remembering the specific names of the stages, but I'm a very big fan of the speed-oriented stages when it comes to Monkey Ball. Because I would say if I were to break up Monkey Ball stages into like 3 or 4 categories, I would definitely say speed, precision, gimmick ones, and then probably there's those more adventurous ones. But
Stages?
I'm more of a fan of
Maze?
That's what it's maze. That's what it's, I'm thinking, like, what's the other word for it? But yeah, I'm a very big fan of speed ones where you just gotta, maybe you're going down like a huge ramp and you gotta get that, you know, you gotta slam dunk into this one goal, or you gotta use momentum to continuously like use these U-shaped loops to get from one side to the other.
Yeah.
That's pretty fun. So
That's a fun stage.
yeah, so speed and momentum based ones are one of my favorites. Precision, I don't want to say I don't like precision just because I'm not good. That's a pretty lame excuse, but precision is nice because there is that sense of relief of, oh my goodness, I can't believe I actually did that. You know, after you feel like a doctor doing an operation after like 30 plus minutes of restarting one stage over and over just to get it right. But in my opinion, yeah, speed ones would have to be some of my favorites.
Yeah,
I don't know. I'd agree with that because like I think the speed ones are more fun in my opinion, but like the precision ones are like more fun to master. You know, like when you beat a precision one, you feel like you accomplished something, which is always a good feeling because I never accomplished anything. So
There's definitely you definitely need like a healthy balance of both types in order to make the game interesting.
yeah.
Because like, you know, the speed ones are more for like relief from doing like the precision ones.
yeah.
Yes. And that's why I like the balance of all those levels. It's not just, oh, this one world is only speed based. This one world.
Wait! You forgot a category. The hold straight to win levels in Monkey Ball 2.
Those are speed based, Greg. Those are speed based.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah, those are speed based. I would also call those more of like those what's that term people use in Mario Maker? Relaxing levels or something.
Auto Mario.
What's it called?
I mean,
where you just kind of like hold B and run the whole time. And like things happen.
I honestly think those levels are like clever troll levels. Where like they look at them, they look like extremely intimidating, but it turns out the developers are like, yeah, you can just hold up actually.
the quick turn and
triangle
beginner,
level.
beginner extra.
Quick turn and triangle holes are really good examples of that. Where like they look super intimidating, like they're super hard. And when once you figure it out, you're like, oh, they did that on purpose.
I hope it was on purpose.
I think
that's kind of a bad oversight.
I think another stage I liked is seesaw bridges. Because that's a good one that also teaches you a mechanic and it kind of makes you it'll kind of force you to get good at seesaws, especially when they start making you use them later in the game. You know, it's not as technically hard as punch seesaws, but you know, it's kind of getting there. They've been introduced to you before, but you know.
Honestly, I would say my two favorite genres of stages in Monkey Ball is usually a seesaw-related stage, or like here's like the easy to hard one where it's like, oh, here's the blue goal and here's the green goal and here's the red goal. I like those. Where it's just like, here's the stupid path that no one would ever do, and here's like the baby path.
If we want to talk about a good stage, 8 bracelets. That's a fun stage.
Oh, I love that one.
That's a good one. Yeah.
Because like when you're looking at this, you know, you really look at it just like, how am I supposed to do this? How am I supposed to do this? And then you try it and it's like, oh, you know.
It's actually a mix of speed and precision. It's kind of a good mix.
That's like the Monkey Ball 2
I think
experience.
the washing machine stage.
It's just like,
I think the washing machine world in general has a lot of good levels.
Yeah, I agree.
They're very challenging levels, but they're very good.
Like I forget what the first one's called, but like the giant spiral that you have to go up.
Yeah.
I think that's a really good stage. I think as a kid it was like really hard to get good at, but eventually it just teaches you to get good. Like I think stages that require you to get good at the game are some of the best.
Yeah, that's definitely something that they try to teach you in like the first couple worlds.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And
then they just
Monkey
throw
Ball
Switch
2.
Inferno at you to make you hate everything.
Oh my god.
Well,
Switch Inferno is an example of a bad stage.
Yeah, should we actually just move into that now? Should we just
I guess so, because we're just gonna
stages?
ramble about random stages.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like I think Switch Inferno is like I think it's the obvious example of, you know, a bad stage, you know.
Obvious meme stage.
I really don't know what they're thinking. Chaos is another one.
Chaos might be my least favorite
Pretty
stage in the entire series.
pretty much any
What's Chaos? What is that one?
It's
Actually, I'll just look it up.
the one from Deluxe, which is like a super long maze stage where like you can barely beat it if you know the route. It's really bad.
I will
I
say
haven't played
pretty
a lot
much
of the
any.
Deluxe
I've
ones.
said this in my videos before, and I'll say it again here. Any maze stage, especially in Monkey Ball, is just bad.
Yeah.
I do not like any maze stage.
A lot of World 2 and Monkey Ball 2 is pretty... Or not World 2, sorry. The Dr. Bad Boon Base world in Monkey Ball 2.
Yeah,
that whole world is pretty bad.
They give you like 2 mazes. And it's like, yeah, have fun. It's like, okay, cool.
God, there's that one where it's like a 3D maze, kind of.
3D maze is not as bad, I would think. I actually
I don't know.
mind that
I don't know
one.
if it's the level 3D maze, but it's the one where like it's really complicated. And even if you know the real route, it's like it takes you until the last second to get there. You know what I'm talking about?
I think it's Labyrinth. Maybe?
Oh, that's Labyrinth or
Yeah,
Crazy
maybe.
Maze is also what it was renamed to, but
yeah,
that's not a good stage. I think we all looked it up on YouTube how to beat that stage.
I actually didn't.
Oh yeah, I had to memorize it.
I didn't. I just cheesed it because I was a kid.
Oh yeah, it's definitely Labyrinth. That one's so hard. Like, there's like a billion different paths, and only one specific one gets you there, and it's still like a to the last second kind of level.
It's funny because then there's a stage like I think it's like the 9th level of the world, where it's just like one that like rotates. It's like the easiest stage ever for no reason.
Oh my god, yeah.
It's like okay, I don't know what they were going for there.
Which one was that?
I forgot what it's called, but it's not a good stage. I'll definitely put it on the bad stages where like it's not even like challenging. It's just like okay. Is there any stages that you think are bad because they're too easy? That's definitely something that happens a lot in Monkey Ball.
I mean, that was kind of brought up earlier, I think, with some of the ones that are hold forward. Hold forward to win. But I do like the ones that are trollish of like, oh my goodness, this is overwhelming, and then you hold forwards. But ones that are pretty straightforward of like, oh, like you know right off the bat, like, oh, I just have to hold forward for this, is a little too easy.
Or like the beginner one in Monkey Ball 1, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that stage is actually
it's
very
like,
difficult.
oh, it's so challenging.
I don't know what you're talking about. That one's a good stage. I think this game, I think Monkey Ball 1 suffers a lot more from like the stage is too easy in the late game. Like Storm, for the most part, like I think half of it is good, and then there's like that second half of Storm that's like kind of easy.
I don't mind it though. After like 50 levels, balling on 3 lives, I appreciate there being a bit of a break towards the end.
Yeah, it's just kind of like when you think about it, like the Arctic one is like way harder than Storm is.
Oh yeah,
and,
no,
like,
definitely. Yeah, the desert world's way harder than both of those.
Yeah, it's true.
It's got that Sega level. Oh my god.
Oh, I hate the Sega level. I don't know if I'd consider that a good
I
level.
like that
it's
one.
Cool.
I think it's
like when you
good.
see
It's
it,
just
you're like,
hard.
wow, it's Sega. It's just like, then
I
it's
guess the
not
thing
fun.
with the Sega level is that it's kind of cryptic in how you're supposed to like cross some of the gaps. Like it's not super duper clear, which I think is a problem.
I don't know. I'll stand up for Sega. I think it's a good stage, but
I do too. It's just hard. It's hard to figure out, but I don't think that makes it bad.
No.
True. I don't know. I think realism is a better stage. Not gonna lie. I ain't gonna lie for a second.
Yeah, that's definitely realism is it's way harder than Sega.
Realism at least has like an obvious path you're supposed to go in, which I think
it does, but also
I think
Monkey Ball controls in Junior are not very good, and that stage highlights it exactly.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know.
Junior.
I think one
real,
stage
though,
me and Ninja would
I
disagree.
don't like that stage.
I think one stage me and Ninja would disagree on is Invisible from Story Mode in Monkey Ball 2. I hate that stage.
What's wrong with that one?
Invisible, you could argue is bad because it's entirely about memorization.
Yeah, but it puts it's a good.
I don't
cool
like
twist.
it. I don't know. I don't
It's a
have
cool
fun with that
twist.
stage.
I think it's fine because it's in story mode, where you're designed to
Yeah,
die a
that's a
million
good point.
times. Like if it was in challenge mode, I think it would be a
That's
bad
fair.
stage. But because it's in story mode,
That's a fair argument.
I won't even argue with that. That's a fair argument.
It's like a stage like Labyrinth. Like it sucks, but like at least it's in story mode.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, that's true. You can die a billion times on that. And it's
Yeah.
fine.
It's not like something like Chaos, which is literally in challenge mode.
Yeah,
Oh my
that
God, yeah.
Chaos is
Chaos is
That's a lot
crazy.
worse.
Crazy Maze was that the?
And you gotta play it 3 times in
Yes, you
Banana
do.
so have fun.
What was that? What was that one where it was like a flat maze, but it's
Literally
it's
called
walls
Flat
that
Maze.
rotate?
Oh wait,
No, it's
Yeah.
Called Deluxe.
not that one. I forgot what it's
it
called.
comes after Chaos.
That one is a bit better than Chaos because at least it's like some level of strategy.
It's
with, like, the
slightly
walls.
better, but
It's still bad. It's still just like, yep, go on this one designated path, otherwise you lose. Like good level, guys. And it's a challenge mode.
exactly. When you put stuff in challenge mode, that's where
That's
that's
when
where it
that's where the
becomes kind of
gloves come
unacceptable.
Like there needs to be some kind of like straightforward goal because like if the player is left like not sure what to do with like Switch Inferno or something, like it's just bad. Like there should be
Yeah,
Yeah.
especially for ones
Like-
that are.
It's bad, and the developers
Time.
should feel bad.
Sit
I
for all
agree.
time. You're bad and you should
I
feel
think
bad.
when we're talking about good stages, I feel like we have to mention launchers.
Launchers
I
is
think we
actually-
can all agree it's a good
I like
stage.
launchers.
yeah. I think launches is in a, it's not really like a category, but I would call it like mini map stages where a lot of people had trouble with them because the actual
After
goal of the
I
stage is
scared
to
Aaron
check the
from
mini
the
map
podcast.
and it will like know where you are in the stage because a lot of people just like don't know what they're doing. Like you're supposed to use the mini map on the launchers to figure out where you are to land on top.
That's
of
a
it.
lot
Yeah,
of the
that's, like,
ones
the
where
only way
it's
to do
like
it.
one bad stage I feel doesn't get mentioned very often is what was that one where it's like it's the goal is brandished. That's what it's called. It's in the
Brandished,
clock
look that
tower
up.
world, and it's like the goal's attached to like this spinning. It's almost like a record player needle or whatever, and like it's spinning
Oh,
around.
Oh yeah, that
Yeah.
one feels very random. Like there is, because like I don't even think it's lined up to the bananas on the floor. I'm pretty
No,
sure
it's
literally
not.
it's literally just
And
random.
it's not lined up to
No,
the
it's-
colors either.
It's just vibes. You just have to vibe it out.
Yeah, like I
And
don't-
the goal switches space. It's not even like it swings in the same place like every time it goes around. Like you kind of it kind of is on an oblong
yeah,
axis I think is what you'd say, but
true.
it's not that good of a stage.
Honestly, I think the deluxe exclusive stage that's kind of like a goal on a stick is actually a lot better than that.
Oh, what's a fun exclusive deluxe stage is the last level of Advanced. It's like the one where like the goal is on like this platform that's turning vertically.
Yeah, and then you have
know?
to go into the goal to gain enough momentum from like it being a
Yeah.
slow. That's a good stage. That's a really good stage.
Wait, you know what's a great stage we've all neglected to mention? The free throw one, where it's like those basketball hoops.
That one's good. Yeah,
That one
I love
actually is
that
pretty
one.
good.
that one's good. That's another mini map stage, I would say.
You just
Oh, definitely, but it's fun.
reminded me of air hockey and train worm. Those two stages.
Those
yeah.
are both bad stages.
I
for
don't know.
sure.
I don't know why they both ended their respective
Yeah.
difficulties with them.
Like,
Those
the
are
developers are
bad
just trolling you
stages.
on those stages.
They're
Honestly.
just like,
yeah.
you actually got it. You got here with enough lives, but now we're just gonna drain them.
I think even the slower air hockey in Banana Mania is still bad. Like it's still just annoying to deal with, but it's not really like a clear way to get into the goal.
Train worm is like one of those that you have to look up, and it sucks because like you feel dirty googling that. Like you're just gonna find something you don't want to find googling train worm. I don't know. Just
Yep.
this sounds a little odd.
You pretty much have to like your goal is to like
that sounds like
Train worm
some
sucks.
medical problem or whatever. It's like, yeah, I got
you gotta,
train
you gotta
worms.
turn safe search on for that.
I agree. Yeah, train worm just entirely like you need to like know where it's gonna go, and that's just not easy. Like, no one has the patience for that.
Yeah, no. Especially in challenge mode.
Yeah, it is also in
it's
challenge
just
mode,
like,
which
bruh,
is bad.
Challenge exclusive at that.
Should have been in story mode if it was in the game, and I would have said don't put it in the game. So, I guess another obvious bad stage I don't think a lot of people know about because it's only in deluxe is the bonus stage where you're in like a giant box. It's just a bunch of like slopes. And then that's the entire, like, it's like that stage is bad because there's no way you're ever gonna beat the bonus stage. The bananas are placed way too badly. Like, it's just like
Exactly.
It's weird because I think deluxe actually has better bonus stages than 2 does, except for that one. That one in particular is just bad, like for no reason.
The one thing is I can't remember many deluxe bonus stages. I remember Mobius.
Mobius is good. There's the one where it's like a hill. That one's pretty good. Like, it looks like a Halo map or something. That one's pretty good.
Fortress.
Yeah.
Xenoblade 3 fans are typing because there's an enemy named Mobius.
I don't know. I guess throw like a wild card in if we're talking about good bonus stages. I like the one in Touch and Roll where it's like you're just rolling down a hill and you have to get all the bananas to get a perfect clear or else you fall out.
Yeah, they took Gravity
That's a
Slider
really
from
fun
Monkey
one.
Ball 2, but it turned into a bonus stage. I think that was kind of clever. It's actually a pretty clever one. Touch and Roll actually has really good bonus stages. Like, I like pretty much all of them that I can remember. Like, the one where it's like a sun is really good. Where it's like there's a bunch of, it's like, you know, like it's like a spinning thing and like you have to go off all the little points. Sounds good.
I like how Banana Blitz, one thing I do find funny is how they get progressively harder. So, like, by the time you get to Ultra Heaven, it's just like, yeah, you're not getting any bananas on this bonus stage.
I've done it without jumping, so...
Oh,
yeah.
man.
Oh, yeah, you did do that.
I had the flex.
Oh, boy.
I had the
We're
The
gonna
fact
bring
that
that
you're
up, Ninja.
bragging about extensively playing Banana Blitz is not a flex, actually.
Whatever.
It says a lot about your character, and I'm kicking you from the podcast.
It's way more fun than playing Banana Blitz normally anyway.
Why would I do that?
It's not like you
Clearly.
didn't either. You had
Clearly.
you had a handful of stages still you couldn't beat, so don't even lie to me,
I
Ninja.
guess, yeah.
You are a fake Monkey Ball Banana Blitz fan, and I'm
Wow.
kicking you from this podcast.
Damn.
Handful. Do we need to pull up the chart?
I guess before we get back into like the main stage, I think we should dissect what makes a good bonus stage because I feel like that's an easy thing to discuss.
That's what I was gonna say.
just some-
I don't like that. I don't like that in 2. The bonus stages have goals because then you can't just get the bananas. Because like if you're going for score, you know, like which is the point of playing challenge mode. Like you got to go in that goal as fast as possible.
Yeah, that
I think the point of challenge mode is just to get to the end because I mean yes, when you are at 99 lives or whatever and you're just racing for score, then yeah, you're gonna go straight to the goal. But like when you have 3 lives, you're still gonna get all those bananas.
Nah, not if you're going for score.
I mean, the problem is that Monkey
I
Ball
don't.
2 went way too ambitious with most of those bonus stages. There's like 1 or 2, or like maybe 3 I can point out that are like okay, but the wide majority are just like they're not designed to be good bonus stages. They're designed to just be like, here's a ton of bananas, have fun. Like they're not designed to be completed, which I feel like
I think they are. Yeah, I don't think they're designed to be getting perfect clears. I think they're designed to get like here's a bunch of bananas, get as many as
it's
you can.
true, but I feel like that ruins a lot of the charm that they were in the first game. Like you could perfect all the ones in 1 if you're good enough. Like it added like a sense of like skill to the bonus stage.
definitely.
Like you actually felt like there was a reason to go for it, even if you weren't gonna get it.
But
Yeah,
the one
and there's
problem
no
is, I
goal,
feel like
so, you know.
the stages in 1 just felt like you just got a bunch of free bananas. You could basically complete all those bonus stages no sweat, unless you're talking about Expert 40. But that has a goal, so your point is mute on that one.
True.
But I would say that I like the approach of like here's getting all these bananas because it's much more interesting than like here's a square. Oh, and we added bumpers
Here's
to the
a
square
bowl.
now.
Yeah, I mean, I think
You
the
know?
problem with 2 is that like with the whole 99 lives, they're just like, oh well, we don't have to make good bonus stages now. So like they kind of just like Fighters is a really good example. It's just kind of like
Okay, yeah, I will not defend
just
fighters.
like all right, here's like 5
Fighters-
bananas you can grab.
Fighters used to crash my game when I had my
It
old
was that
copy.
bad. Crazy.
Yeah, I'd have to die within the first couple seconds.
Yeah, it crashed your your GameCube.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, my Wii, but yeah.
I don't know. It's just like I feel like at 2, they lost the charm that they had in 1. Like there's some okay ones. Like Earthquake is not bad, but like once you start getting to like the pachinko machine, it's like okay, like that's when most people I feel like stopped grabbing bananas. They're just kind of like, oh, well, it's not worth it.
I wouldn't say they lost the charm. They just stopped feeling like bonus stages. Like they're fine as like normal levels mostly. They just aren't bonus levels.
What's the point in trying to go for like 2 bananas in the challenge mode at that point? Like they became way too difficult to actually like get any amount in. Like I don't even think the 2 approach is that bad. The problem is they went way too overboard.
Fighters is bad.
Fighters is like one of the worst.
But
like,
again,
maybe in the series, in my opinion.
Maybe I just hold Monkey Ball bonus stages to a different standard.
I
but like I really don't mind if it's just like, oh, get a pachinko machine. You might get 2 bananas, you might get 20.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like Kardino did it best in my opinion. Where like they still like one. I mean, obviously a lot of them have ripped from 1 and 2, but like. There was a good balance where it's like they're difficult, but at least they're fair. You can get all the bananas.
Touch and Roll had good ones. I'll even say this: Banana Blitz had its fair share of okay bonus stages. I think the bonus stages are.
That is the one thing Banana Blitz did better in 2, is that the bonus stages were a lot better in Banana Blitz than they were in 2.
I like the Space Case bonus stage. That's a really fun one where it's like just this giant. Like it's like this giant cup or whatever, and you are in the bottom, and you need to use the dash pads.
That one is good. Yeah.
Boost up the sides.
I think the only one I don't like is the world free one. I think that one's just kind of lame. It's like just a giant.
I don't like the pyramid one. It's
the pyramid
too
one's
big.
kind of lame too. Like I feel like the rest of them are good though. I like the one in World 9, which is like a bunch of beams you have to cross.
Yeah, just a bunch of beams.
The one in World 10's good. If you don't die in 1 second, it's actually good. Which you will, which I guess is arguable. But like, outside from that, it is a good bonus stage. Just the problem is it's hard to transition onto the actual platform.
I like how they put that after 10-4 or whatever it is, or 10-5, because they knew that you needed those lives. They knew that you need those lives after that garbage, invisible, see-through platform or whatever.
I just feel...
Anyway.
I just feel like the bonus stages need to have that risk and reward to them, where like you can't, like you feel like you want to go for it just because you can't complete it, as opposed to just like, let me...
Actually, let's just mention this now. If we're talking about bad stages, 10-5. Why? Just why, Sega? Why?
It was funny because Kardino was playing Banana Blitz. He's like, this one isn't that bad. It's actually kind of okay. And like a week later, he's like, completely changed his mind. Yeah, 10-5 is just bad.
The thing that really got me right was in the end I ended up cheesing it with Yan Yan because that's the only way you keep your sanity. But like the moment where it's like, oh, this is a really hard but okay level, was when you get to the end. There's like this platform where you're like, all right, I'm gonna, you're at the end, you're about to go to the goal, and then you just fall off. You gotta fall out, and you're like, wait, was the platform above me, and I just need to, jump at the end of that? So I got to the second place again. This is 3 hours later. I got to the platform, I jumped, and that's when I realized that platform has no collision. And I'm just God. Oh, great. I've been spending hours. I've been spending a week on this level. I get to the end, and I got copped 2 endings, two goals because of stupid collision problems. It's that might be the worst. That might be the worst stage in Monkey Ball history.
Yeah,
just
I can't believe
that.
They made the hardest stage in the entire game and didn't check the collision map. I can't believe it.
Man, what a great tangent for a podcast about great Monkey Ball stages, right?
I mean, I guess that's our key takeaway here is if you're designing a Monkey Ball level, make sure your collision works. I think that's a good sign of a good level.
I mean, that is a good way to go. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's the bare minimum, right?
They didn't even bother fixing it in BBHD, honestly. Like they kind of fixed it a little bit, but it's still what I'm saying in general. Like the overall stage, they didn't fix it that much. It's still broken.
I would say it's a lot better than it is in Banana Blitz because at least like you can kind of beat it, like not like easily, but like you can do it within a reasonable amount of tries once you know what you're doing.
Again, if you aren't cheesing half the stage with the Yan Yan, then what are you even doing? I eventually was. I originally was like, all right, I'm going to try every stage with EiEi. I'm going to beat every stage with EiEi, and then I'm going to try all the other characters to see how they compare, But eventually, after, days, I'm just like, you know what? No, I'm just doing Yan Yan. It's not worth grinding through this as EiEi. Yan Yan's just too busted for me not to use her. That was a tangent.
My brain wants me to bring up Monkey Ball 3D because it's like the great example of just the most mediocre level design ever devised.
That's the one thing.
I don't think I can remember a single stage from that game, Ninja.
A lot of the stages in Monkey Ball aren't particularly good. They aren't particularly bad. It's just, it's, for example, Monkey Ball 2 has a lot more of them in one, in my opinion. But, like, there's a lot of stages you just don't even think about, like URL. The only reason anyone cares about that is because the original had shameless promotion.
Yeah, and then
it's kind of funny.
Push bar. Can't believe it.
And now it's just another forgettable
push
stage.
bar.
What about Dribbles? That's another one that's just
Dribbles-
I mean, it's not
The
bad.
problem with Dribbles
I
is
love
that it
Dribbles.
lasts so long. It's such a long stage.
It really does.
It's a bit too long for my taste. I mean, I think it's okay. Like, you pretty much have to hit the switch though, which is a mechanic of two.
It's a real challenge to do it fast.
Yet, but like, yeah, dribble is just not a great stage. I never want to do dribble, even like in general. I'm just like, yep, it's dribble. Trying to get past dribble.
Well, that's a good topic segue. How do we feel about switches and Monkey Ball levels? Because, like, personally, I think like they're kind of fun sometimes when it's like, they start off in fast mode. It's like, oh, you can waste time and slow it down, or you can get a better score and just go for it. But I don't know. I mean, they're kind of they don't really need them. Like, I feel like I like that they're not in one.
I think the switch mechanics are take them or leave them personally, because like I can't think of any stages off the top of my head where it's just like, wow, this is a really good use of switches.
Yeah, no, definitely not. Except for switching for
and the
course,
problem is,
but...
there are lots of stages where they're used just fine. There aren't any. There are plenty of bad. There are a good handful of bad stages. There are lots of forgettable stages that use them. Can't really think of any good.
I think the only good use for a switch I can think of, besides just like, oh, here's a harder version of the stage if you want to, is like, I guess the first level that has it, because there's like a green goal that's hidden with the switch.
Oh, that's a funny stage too, because what a great way to teach players about the switch. Because like, you need it first to open the path ahead of you, and then you'll have the player that's just going fast, after they reach the bridge, they push another switch thing, it'll help them, and nope, the path ahead of you just drops.
It's such a good way to teach you that switches are both good and bad, just like without even having to do anything. It's like, yep, there you go. Don't trust the switches, which is pretty much the rest of the game.
Exactly.
I think it's fine on some stages.
I think
the problem
main...
is most stages I can say that like, oh, I like it. Or stuff like combination where like the only way it's actually fun is if you do it in an unintended fast way. It's not like, wow, that switch was added a lot. Like, wow, you took a stage that was unplayable and made it playable with the switch. Thank you, Monkey Ball devs. Kind of thing.
I almost wonder if the switches were just as a way to be like, oh, maybe you missed something happening in the stage. Like warp or vortex. That's what it was. Maybe you missed like the thing in vortex, so here's a switch to rewind and do it. But I really do feel like they could have, at the very least, had some more potential.
I feel like I don't like the stages where like the entire concept revolves around a switch. Like, there's that one level, I don't even know where it's at, but I think it's an advanced.
Something. What's it called?
Maybe. It's the one where it's the bead screen, I think, where it's just like 5 switches and you just have to hit one at the right time. Just like, come on.
Those are definitely the worst. I think Steppenwolf actually had good switch mechanics in like the final world I could think of. Actually, Steppenwolf had better switch mechanics than 2 probably, but most of them were just like hit this button to turn this thing to move on kind of thing. But like,
as someone who has not yet played Steppenwolf, I cannot comment on that.
But in Steppenwolf in World 7, there's one stage where there's like a ramp that moves up and down, and then you have to hit a button to stop the ramp so that you can go down like a slope and launch off of it. That's the only good switch mechanic I could think of. I guess that's from Steppenwolf. It's kind of funny. Aside from that, it's just like the typical Monkey Ball 2 scenario where it's like, hit this button to activate this object. Wow.
Yeah, it's just kind of like, wow, real intuitive.
There's one where it's a hand, and you have to go down each finger of the hand to hit a switch, and you go back. That's actually a good stage.
Finding out that Steppenwolf is a 10 out of 10 game.
So I guess Steppenwolf
true.
switches better too. I would still argue that they're unnecessary though, because most of the time it's just like, yep. Here, like a lot of time it just feels like a stage that could have been made without switches, but they threw them in because they wanted some kind of.
I literally cannot comment. I don't know.
That's usually the case.
I will say that the warp goals, as I've alluded to earlier, are the warp things. They are put to much better use into
Warps are good. Yeah.
You don't mean like the warp goals, right?
Yeah,
You just
yeah,
mean
the
like the
actual-
No,
levels,
just like the actual warp.
Okay, yeah, I like those sometimes. They're kind of difficult. I wouldn't say they're bad though. They're just really hard.
I think they're usually good. It's just kind of like sometimes it's just like some visual flair, like an expert one, a Monkey Ball 2. It's just like, oh, you go up here with the warp, you know, like it doesn't add much.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
almost think like it would have been fun to put them to like even better, like have more possibilities. Like imagine a stage like Free Fall or whatever, right? But the goal is above you. I need to fall down into the warp goal to jump up to that platform or whatever. I think like they could even expand that if they brought it
Yeah,
back to
add like
another
some
game,
Portal-esque like puzzles or something. That'd be kind of cool.
Oh yeah, how do we feel about the portals?
That's what that's what we've been talking about.
Oh, wait, since when? Wait, hold on. I must have missed that. Oh god.
Well, you look embarrassing. No.
Yeah, I feel embarrassed now. Hang on.
Yeah, they bring up step and roll once again. They have like the basic like this ramp makes you go fast and you go for a warp kind of stuff. Like, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my god, you're talking. Oh my god, I realize now. Okay, I thought you were talking about warp as in like the levels where the terrain like warps, kind of like. Oh my god, that makes so much sense
Yeah,
now.
warp is the best level in Monkey Ball 2. Actually,
This
That's
is a
my
certified
thesis.
Greg moment. Warp. I would not say it's a bad level. I will say it's one of those levels where it's not bad, but it definitely is infuriating. You know, it's kind of like Conical Slider. You know.
Yeah, because like the thing about warp is that you have to stay a lot higher on the actual slope than you think you do. But overall, it's a good stage. I can't really say like it's bad or anything.
It's kind of like floor bends.
Except actually
in that
interesting.
way.
I agree.
Yeah.
I like Warp and Monkey Ball 2, but in Banana Mania, it's pretty much broken. Honestly,
I guess we'll just go back to like gimmicks because there's more. I guess I have to talk about like a example of a bad gimmick. Monkey Ball 3D has a super bumper. It is barely used. It is not interesting. It's only used in like one bonus stage and then in a couple stages. It adds nothing to the game, and that's my reasoning as to why that's bad.
Yes, I definitely know what you're talking
Yes,
about.
yeah,
The fact that
yeah.
no one in the entire chat can tell me what that is besides myself.
yeah,
is how
I haven't
effective
played
is
that
used.
game in a while.
I know, I can't.
I think that just speaks to Monkey Ball 3D in general, to be honest with you.
I think it just speaks to the fact that we've been spending 2 years on our Monkey Ball retrospectives, and we still are only getting to the Wii titles.
Yeah, it's funny. All of your retrospectives end with Adventure or Banana Blitz, and then it.
Well, that's funny. We all are kind of going on the same pace, you know. I guess Jeff started like the year after me, but even still, you know.
Yeah, it's because it's not as fun to make videos. I'd like to do the step and roll video.
Yeah.
It's just I need like
Balance board
10,000
is
like
great.
dumb
I guess we
gimmick.
could. Do we already mention
products,
stuff right
so-
now in that case? Because I can bring up the Wii remote. I don't think I will.
Mm-hmm.
Nah,
Yeah,
I don't know because we.
good levels, right?
Well, what makes a good stage, Ninja? You're confusing. You're confusing the Wii balance board with
you know
good
what?
stuff.
My point here is if you want to make a good stage, don't
Classic
allow
Ninja.
the balance board to be part of your level design. There we go. I think that should be the
Yeah,
takeaway from that.
definitely. Balance board, motion controls, or touch controls. Let's just ban those real quick, right?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I'll agree. Let me see. Here's a divisive one. How about opera? I'll take a pulse. How do you guys feel about
is
opera?
okay. I put it in the it's fine category. Well, like I could sit here and be like it's boring, but it's like it's fine. It's just a staircase. Like it's.
I'm okay with opera. I think it's fun. I don't think it's like the best stage in the world, but I think it's fun enough.
I think it's too long. I think it's too long for my liking. Way too long.
I think it's okay. I don't think it's like a good stage, but it's not bad.
I don't think it's too long. I think it's fine. I think it's appropriately paced.
I
think you're
I
too
think
long
Touch
for
and Roll
my
was better when it was just like half of it as one stage and then the other half is a different stage. I think that was better. I think that was a better use of opera when you split it in half.
I guess,
That way it's a lot
yeah,
more bite
yeah.
size. It doesn't get as
The biggest contribution opera ever made was before Banana Mania's release. We got to hear the Boiling Pot remix.
I think it's okay. I don't think it's like really, it doesn't really challenge you that much. It's kind of just about slow down. That's pretty much it. Like once you figure that out, you can beat the stage in any attempt. So I don't think I like stages that kind of kick you in and like make you like learn a skill or practice where it's like, you kind of get the idea of just hold back very early. And as long as you do that, you're fine.
Well, yeah, but that's why it's so long though, is because like you have to kind of balance holding back with still making the time.
I guess in a similar vein, we could discuss the whole, is Monkey Ball 1 better than Monkey Ball 2 when it comes to level design as far as like overall.
Didn't we do a podcast episode on this already?
I know we did a
However, it is
podcast
relevant.
on this, but I am not satisfied with the representation that SMB2 received in that argument.
I think I was in a bad mood when we recorded that podcast. I'm not even gonna lie.
Fair.
I watched it back and I was like very out of it.
Anyway, I was gonna argue that I think Monkey Ball 1 has like I like the skill-based level design a lot more in Monkey Ball 1 than like the more gimmicky stuff in 2, as much as although that does have its obvious advantages of like being more memorable.
I agree with that. As someone who I just recently got back into playing both the first 2 games pretty egregiously, and yeah, I don't know. I feel like I have a lot more fun. I don't know. It's hard to explain because like 1 is like more fun to grind and like get good at. Like I feel like I'm really like improving on like a game that's meant to like grind away at, and then 2, it's more like. It's not that hard compared to 1, and it's like some of the early stages are a bit more boring in my opinion. But like when it gets more interesting. I think it's more you have to look at it more as like a puzzle game. And I think it kind of works in that regard. But I don't know. I don't know.
I don't know, because like the thing with me is like I will always prefer 2 based almost entirely off of novelty. Monkey Ball 2 has a lot more novel stages, and I think while Monkey Ball 1 I would say is a much more like, it's a good consistent experience, SMB2 has a lot like higher highs, I'd argue, in exchange for also having much lower lows, I think, for example, a good stage I like in 2 that kind of feels like it belongs in 1 is Long Taurus.
I like that stage.
It's a very hard
crazy.
stage, but like it feels like it belongs straight in Master.
2 has a lot of stages that are just like really like fun. Like you get to them, and you're like, "What the fuck is this?" And 1 is always like every time you enter a level, you know what to do, and if it's just too hard, you're just screwed. Like you just can't beat it.
Oh, go ahead.
I had also.
Go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead. I was just saying like Monkey Ball 2 has a better Master mode than 1 too. Because
definitely.
Because for example, you also have like some very questionable levels in 1, like Dodge Master, Dance Master. Those 2 are particularly not very good in my opinion. Fan Master is okay, but it feels like it should have been in it. You could honestly swap Exam C for Fan Master, and I feel like it would be good.
Yeah, probably.
I don't know. I just feel like SMB1 Master. The 2, it's really comprised of Stamina Master and Bridge Master.
Pretty much.
And without those, the stages are kind of forgettable. And, I just think Monkey Ball 2 did a much better job as far as I can remember a lot more stages,
Yeah, Monkey Ball 2's Master is actually really fun. I think 2 is like has more fun levels, whereas 1 has more challenging levels. It's just kind of like what you prefer at that point.
Yeah, like there's a reason why Monkey Ball 1 is like the Monkey Ball gamers game. Yeah, everybody else is like 2 is the one to get you into it because it's a lot more accessible. It's a lot more like thrill and intrigue with the level design.
That's what I was thinking too. Like 2 is better for your first experience. Like I would not recommend 1 to someone who's never played it before.
1 is a game that will beat you down. You're like, oh god, I'm.
You got to play them in reverse order. Like, you get good at 2, and then you're like, oh, I'm ready for a good challenge, and then you do 1.
It is kind of funny, because I do know a lot of people who did play 1, or, first, because it was a launch title for the GameCube, and they played it, and they're just like, man, this game is so hard, I can't get past advanced, I guess I will, and then that's where they checked out of the series, While I do think challenge is very good, you also kind of have to have like, Monkey Ball 2 has that draw where it's like, what's the next stage gonna be, Whereas SMB 1 has a lot more. It's like, oh great, another wire stage.
Yeah, definitely. 2 is more like it's way more intriguing.
Expert 9, that's a great stage that will not cause any broken controllers.
In 2, like when you're working towards master mode, every time you're just like, man, what's like the next one? What could it possibly be like? And it always kind of pays off. Like you get to the next one, you're like, whoa. 1, it's just like you already know what to expect. You know what I mean? Like there's some curveballs, but not a whole lot.
We should give Tay his own segment. Because he's because Tay's underrepresented.
I'm mostly just playing Monkey Ball, trying to find the stages you guys are actually talking about, and practicing at some of them. But for some of the stages, oh man. And you're talking about the bad ones now?
We're talking about good ones, I guess.
when it's been revealed that Tay has been muted this entire podcast.
We're talking about like the tight and strained world of one versus like the big and bombastic, like gimmicky 2 stages.
I don't have a whole lot to say because, like I said, I'm more of a casual monkey ball player. But I can definitely tell the differences between 1 and 2. Yeah, 1 is very, very tight. But I will say, I think, doesn't 2 have like a better camera? I think like where the camera's pulled back more. Yeah.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, it's also in widescreen, so yeah.
Yeah, that helps out a ton. As a kid though, I had more fond memories of 2 and Deluxe. I remember going back to 1 and like it felt a little more basic and a lot harder, definitely, like you guys said earlier.
It definitely does feel like a arcade port in that way.
It feels more like a straight port of the actual Monkey Ball game. And as a funny side note, I have played like the new Monkey Ball arcade game that they have at like Chuck E. Cheese with the banana controller now. Not banana controller. It has like this big, that big trackball board thing. It's kind of weird. I think that's what it's called. So the, Sega's gotta hop on that, get some ports of that on.
Yeah.
And Splits has a really good level design. That game suffers from like the joystick controls being really bad, but like I feel like Splits leans a lot more into like a combination of 1 and 2, with their own levels that are like very tightly designed. Like they're a very like Monkey Ball-esque one level. Like this one was just like 2 like rectangles spinning basically. I feel like it leans a lot more in that direction. I'm just talking good about Splits basically because I had to mention that at least once.
I will say in that same vein, I think we've already have touched on this, but I think Deluxe's levels overall are very whatever. They range from bad to whatever. Yeah,
I would say a third of them are good, and like the other 2/3 feel like unfinished test levels that they threw into the game because they need more spaces.
I cannot think of any particularly good levels besides like the last advanced one. That's basically it. that's basically it.
The ones I like are all of the and I think it's advanced. There's like a washing machine area of the challenge mode. I think those are like all of the good Deluxe stages that they brought over, pretty much. Like those are the ones I can point out and be like, this is good. Like there's a couple advanced extra ones I think that are fine. But like once you start getting to like the ever ones where it's like, here's chaos. It's like, wow, you really ran out of ideas, didn't you?
Chaos is so bad. All the main stages are lazy.
There are so many stages.
Or what about the one that's like opera, but it's literally just a square and you're just going downstairs?
That one's pretty bad. A lot of them just feel like test stages are like very early concepts for stages that they like just need to throw in there for the stage count.
The issue with Deluxe is like the stages are just too big for their own good. I forget what it's called, but there's that one stage where it's just like a bunch of giant ramps that connect with each other.
Vert ramp.
And that stage is it's really cool the first time you play it, and then the next time you're just like, oh, I have to get through this like long level that's just, and it's just like these two levels are too big. Like you need to cut these down. Like Catwalk is another example. I mean, that level's not that long, but it's like it's just unnecessarily like, I don't know. I don't want to say repetitive, but just not that interesting,
like,
I guess.
There's definitely a need to have like the stages be quick and snappy because like when they go on for too long, it just feels like you're wasting your time.
Yeah, definitely.
I think my main problem with your tower stages, if I'm remembering the one you're, right? Like it looks like have like a construction tower kind of.
Oh wait, that one's good.
I feel like the problem with that is it's too anticlimactic because you get to the top and then the goal's just
like
there.
That one.
I feel like I think it would have been fun if like you climbed to the top and there was a ramp you would jump, from to get to the goal using the height you just.
I guess. I mean, I feel like a lot of the advanced stages are actually kind of good. Like the one that's like there's some good ones. Like I feel like the desert area has another. Like it's like basically just the desert area and the washing machine have all the good Deluxe stages.
There's Scrolls. Scrolls is a good level.
When I think of like bad gimmicky Deluxe levels, I think of stuff like elevators, where it's just like, yeah, okay. And then
escalators, Ninja. There's a difference.
But yeah, like there's good beginner levels too. Like Serpent's a good beginner one.
Catapult's
I don't remember that one particularly.
That's the one in the underwater world where you're launched up this giant slope.
The based one's always good.
I don't know. I guess yeah. A lot of the.
Because the problem is all the good Deluxe levels are the ones that remind you of like a Monkey Ball 2 level or a Monkey Ball 1 level. Like all the ones that are like, here's the giant Deluxe levels. Those are always the worst ones. Like Astrict is actually a good level. The one we have to like go up like a couple of ramps and like use that momentum to get into the goal. Like those are all good. The other ones that feel like they were tightly designed around 1 and 2. But then I feel like the problem is that they just had a bunch of like levels that weren't done yet that were just lying around. They're like, well, we need to get the 300, so here's Chaos, here's Vert
Kind of feels like you got a mod pack. Feels like you got a mod pack as an extension of the game or whatever.
Mod pack. And then not to mention that they lagged the PS2 version, which I don't even want to bring up at this point. But, yeah.
So it sounds like what makes a good Monkey Ball stage shouldn't be too long, and I think we can all agree on that.
Yeah, it's mainly just like tightly designed levels. Don't waste your time. You know, like gimmicks are fine as long as they're not intrusive.
As long as they're fun, right? Yeah.
Yeah, as long as it doesn't feel like you're being like cheated out of a win for no reason. Like just make the goal clear, both literally and not literally. Like just.
I almost feel like the best gimmicks in Monkey Ball are like the one-off
gimmicks,
you know. Shoutouts to the Nintendo
That's a
GameCube
great
stage
that
that
level.
they never brought back, even in the Switch port of Banana Mania, which I was disappointed at. And in retrospect, I kind of get why, because if you have leaderboards, I guess it doesn't
you
make
kind of can't bring that
sense
back.
to have
Well,
a
the
different
leaderboards
stage.
are console specific anyway, so that still doesn't make sense. But
That's true. That's true. As someone who is the number 3 best PC monkey target player in Banana Mania,
What a
I
flex.
can confirm. I am like number 20 on Switch. The competition
As the
is
number
much
1
steeper on
PS5
Switch.
monkey boat player, I agree.
Have you updated? Have you checked your stats on that one? Actually, Ninja, have you
I
gone
checked
on there
it, like,
recently?
months afterwards and it was still me, so I think it's still me now. But I could check, I guess, later. I don't know, Monkey Ball level design is a lot about just like control. You want some amount of control over like whether or not you win or not. It shouldn't just be like, haha, you got cheated with Switch Inferno.
yeah,
Cool level, guys.
Great
It's-
design.
Like as long as the difficulty of the level is clear and obvious, and like the path to being the goal isn't like way too confusing, I feel like you pretty much have like infinite room for error.
That's why I'd almost argue, Greg, you were talking about how you liked Arthropod. The main
I don't
problem
like
I have
Arthropod.
with
It was
that-
just a hard one.
The main problem with Arthropod, I think, is that the timing cycle is way too long.
Oh, that's a big problem.
I don't know if they expect you to just stay on there for those seconds, but what happens is you end up just sitting there watching Aya's idle animation for 30 seconds.
I think what you're supposed to do is, I think you're supposed to either like use the feet to get across the gaps or something weird like that, or you're supposed to just like very slowly go across each gap until you get to the final one and then wait for the goal. That's my only guess.
But the fact that it's been like 20 years and we're still just guessing what you're supposed to do is probably not a good sign.
That is like a good prime example of a bad stage where just the goal is unclear.
Yeah,
so
definitely.
We just kind of screwed, and then they also have to wait like 30 seconds because of it. It's just not good.
Melting Pot. Let's shout out to Melting Pot. It's a good
That
Monkey Ball
stage
2
is
stage.
I don't like that stage just because like
It's not a good stage. It's
it
not
just
a
feels
good stage.
It feels too random. It feels way too
I can't
random.
remember what
It really
Melting Pot
does.
even is.
That's
It's
the one
the-
that you skip because you get the green goal in free fall.
Let me look
It's
it up.
it's a box full of a bunch of like marbles and just like moves
Oh, that
around
one's
and you
not
get bumped
bad.
everywhere.
It's one of the 2 30-second
that
levels
one's
in the
easy.
game for some reason.
Yeah.
I mean, I do think it's worse than Banana Mania, but it wasn't a good stage in 2 anyway, so
Yeah. Like I actually like stages like was it the one where like a bunch of like bouncy things that go up to the top of a tower and then there's a red goal at the
bounce
top.
machine? Yeah, jump
Yeah,
machine.
I like that one. Jump machine's a good stage.
That was a good stage if it worked in Banana Mania.
Well, yeah, it doesn't work in Banana Mania. Banana Mania is like an exception that we should ignore.
Yeah, we should just
Because like we could be like, wow, this stage doesn't work in Banana Mania. It's like, yeah, I'm sure the devs in 2002 knew that when they made the stage.
Yeah, bad stage. Didn't know that in 20 years people would ruin your game. I don't know. I guess there's another stage we should bring up: reversible gear.
That one is entirely a
I don't-
mini-map based stage.
That one's
Hang on,
mini
let me
map,
look
but
this up.
to be fair, I don't mind it. I think it's a good stage. It was just really hard. It's a difficulty jump, I will say.
That is true.
It's not as much of a spike as like Expert 7 was in 1, or like Arthropod, I'd say.
Like I
But
don't
it is a
recommend
small
them
jump,
putting
yeah.
this into Monkey Ball, but that'll be at the one stage where I put like a little pop-up like, look at the mini-map.
Yeah.
That's the only stage I'd ever recommend that as an area.
Reversible
But I
gear
won't-
is like another one of those stages that we were talking about earlier where like you don't know what to do and it sucks because of that.
I feel like you know what to do.
Well, you know
I feel
what
like
to do.
it's just
like,
doing it is very hard.
Well, if you don't know, you don't know.
Yeah, I won't defend it in touch and roll because you literally, technically it's called Starfish in that game, but you don't know, like there's no mini map, so you just literally have to guess.
Shout out to Polar being renamed to Wheel of Fortune. And,
Great name.
Oh yeah,
That's a good change.
Touch and roll.
That's a good change. Polar is, I don't know if Polar is a good stage or not, to be honest.
Oh, you know what's
like...
well, I don't know. I like Polar. Because it's one of those stages where you reach the end of Advance and it's just like, oh man, all my lives are gone now. But then as you get better at the game, it becomes easy. Like, I can clear Polar pretty much every time now.
I guess you could, I mean, that is kind of good thing about it, because, like, like, it's both, like, oh, you have to balance very quickly, like, get good at that. But then, like, once you know it, you can literally just go to the goal in 1 second. Like, it does kind of reward that, in a way, so.
Exactly. And Polar Large is just that to, a larger extent.
I like Polar Large. I do like Polar Large a lot more than the original. I think it's a good stage.
I think it's fun. If we're talking about good touch and roll stages, I like the one where like you're on a car, or like the pinball machine one. Those are the 2 stages I always remember.
I like the pinball machine one. I'm not huge on the car one. Like, it's fine, but it's not really that hard. It's just like there for the visual flair of it. But
it's all about balancing,
The pinball one's kind of cool. I think that one's neat. Touch and rolls. The touch and roll original stages are either like, oh, we took a 2-stage and broke it into 2 pieces or something, or it's like kind of good. That's pretty much the touch and roll original stages.
Yeah. Unless you're the last stage of Melt Mosh or whatever it's called, where it's the one where it's like you have a bunch of jump pads. Yeah, it's like you have a bunch of jump pads and the ghouls moving all over the stage.
That one suffers from it's way too random because it's not well designed. It's just bad.
That one feel like it's hard to control.
It's just that one's just way too bad. Like, they literally want you to launch it to a tiny like cup to get into the goal. It's pretty bad.
The amount of game overs I've gotten on that stage.
That entire world is just questionably designed. I don't know, Tay, what's your favorite touch and roll stage?
Touch and roll stages? Oh man. Honestly, probably, I think, what was the second world on that one? I don't
Jungle
remember them
World would be number 2.
I think Jungle World. I think Jungle World had some decent ones, but I think didn't Touch and Roll have like a lot of just like rehashed ones from previous ones, just renamed?
Yeah, that happened a
lot. So
it's
like, if I were to have a favorite from that one, and at least I'm happy to say I do own that on DS. I would have to say any favorites from that one would have to be ones that were just ports.
Wow.
But there are some weird one-off stages in there that are okay. But like I said, I wouldn't remember the specific names of them.
That says a lot about touch and roll, not gonna lie. Yeah. Didn't you play Splits before, if I remember correctly?
Splits. I played Splits before. I never owned it.
Is there any stages you remember from that experience?
No, nothing I can remember right off the top of my head. Good. Like, we're talking, this was like a decade ago.
All right,
a friend of mine had it, and I played it, and I was like, oh, this is nice. Again, the aesthetics were something I really liked.
I wanted to discuss the inner workings of Splits' level design. I can't do it.
If you supply us all with copies of it, we can do a podcast on it. But
True.
I mean, I guess if we're talking about good stages we liked, what was that one from Monkey Ball Adventure where it's like Salem?
Well, my favorite stage is the one where it's like 20
sun.
bowls in the air and it's impossible.
That is like the worst stage in that entire game. So bad.
No, I like the one that's like Salem or whatever. It's in the sun and like you're going down like down. It's like gravity.
I blocked that game out of my memory by now. To be honest,
it's a stage that's like a super long slope. You have to hold down basically the entire time. That one's okay,
but not quite because like it banks on the way down.
The one I like from Adventure I can remember is the one where it's like a narrow path and it's just like a half sphere kind of like a half cylinder, I guess, and you get to go across it. It's like slowly getting thinner. You have to do it like 3 or 4 times.
Oh yeah.
That one's very good. That's a good one. There's a lot of good.
No, a lot of the stages in Adventure are just forgettable.
Yeah, there's a couple good ones, but no one's gonna be like, my favorite Monkey Ball stage is that one where you go up and down 20 times and it's called ZZ Top. It's my favorite stage from Monkey Ball Adventure.
That stage is only good because of the name and nothing else.
Yeah.
I think we can all agree that the best designed Monkey Ball levels are the ones where they drop you in an open world and have you solve political issues. Man, those are the best.
Yeah, great game.
Those are my favorite levels, actually. I don't know. I do like how Monkey Ball 1, I will say, with its level structure, it does feel progressive, where it's like, oh, here's exam A, then exam B, then exam C, and then like, you know, arguably Stamina Master's exam D. You know,
I do miss that like aspect of Monkey Ball level design, because it helped. Like, I feel like, you know, even though it's just like, oh, we took this level and made it harder, I feel like as the player, it's like, wow, I've progressed to the point where I could beat this harder version of a previous stage.
You know, yeah, you have bowl and then bowl open, or you know, you have, you know, as funny as the names are, you know, you have what's the other one? I forget which one it is, but yeah, there's a few stages where like that, where a lot of people, some people will complain they're just recycled stages, but I call that progressive level design. So
it does a lot. Like, there's one where it's like the conveyor belt level, and it's like, oh, the conveyor splits into two and moves left and right.
Yeah.
Like, if I do really hope they bring that back, because that was such a cool aspect of Monkey Ball 1. That's kind of part of why I like it so much. It's like, wow, they found a way to reuse the same levels, but in like a creative new way to make it a completely different level.
Yeah,
It's,
I always like that aspect too.
As a kid, I used to think like exam C was them like taking like the model for the original and just like cutting pieces out and pasting it every places and stuff like that, because it kind of feels that way.
It really does. Just like, you just go down the second slope, and then like there's just this checkerboard
just because why not?
Where it's like no reason, just screw you. You know,
Yeah.
You aren't beating this stage.
I love how much Monkey Ball kind of makes you like mad. Just like,
Oh,
come
yeah.
on, why? I feel like the new games are definitely missing that like edge that it really needs, because that's part of why Monkey Ball is so memorable, is because it does not pull any punches. You're just like, wow.
What new games?
We can't even say new anymore. It's been like 20 years almost. Like,
I'm trying to
15
remain
years.
hopeful. Okay, but anyway, into the theoretical new game.
Yes.
I really hope that they like bring
Are
that
you
back.
moving the goal, Ninja?
Yeah, I am
The
actually.
goalpost? Jeez.
That is something
I think
love
we can
about
all
Monkey Ball.
agree that EiEi's Funhouse is the best level pack in the series. Actually,
Yeah.
You know, I like how it progresses with difficulty, where you have level 1, level 2, and level 3.
Yeah, oh, it's crazy.
You know, it's crazy. You know, it's such an immersive experience. You're tricked into thinking you're playing Whack-A-Mole when really you're playing the best game you ever played.
I agree.
Yes. I think one of the big problems with Banana Blitz and where it got level design wrong.
Yeah.
I think as a good place to progress a conversation is I think the biggest problem was you know, the jump controls obviously were, you know, not that great, but what motion controls made them do is they need to lean more on Deluxe's level design approach in a way. Whereas, you know, they have a lot more bigger, wider open stages. And although they get difficult, you know, I'd argue it's for the wrong reasons because of those controls. But like, I think the desert world especially has a lot of stages where it's just like, oh, you're waiting for this door to open after it closed, and then you have, you know, 2 more doors.
Yeah.
And then you have to climb up the stairs of a pyramid for no reason,
Yeah,
you know?
for some reason, the Desert World really likes to have like, this stage is just like, they just had like, here's just some stairs because we need to have something in this level because we couldn't design anything.
Yeah, Banana Blitz just feels like they just threw shit at a wall and just were like, yeah, there's a level. Okay, we'll just throw 5 things on top of each other and call it a day.
It's like once the game starts actually getting like an identity, like, and actually like having some interesting level ideas, is World 9. You know, it's like this is kind of a cool world, but like it's way too late at this point.
I'd say Space Case would be the first.
Yeah, but most people hate that world because it's garbage.
I kind of just hate the whole game, to be honest.
Like,
Yeah.
there are levels I like in Space Case. Like, I actually don't even mind like the orange one with, you know, the oranges wrote on the thing. Like, that one's fine.
For no, yeah.
Like,
they're pumpkins,
like-
but yeah.
Like, I do like that stage, even though it's kind of annoying. But, like, I mean, the random spiral at the beginning was completely dumb and was not necessary. Like, I don't know why they felt the need to have like, it's like, oh, this always isn't long enough. It's like, it's Monkey Ball. It's okay. It's okay if it's a little bit short. Like,
I think World 7 actually had some interesting design.
yeah.
And even to an extent, Cobalt Caverns, you know.
Yeah.
A lot of them
I
still
like
suffer
Cobalt,
from the. A lot of them still suffer from to the extent, you know, where the stages are too big and, you know, they have like a lack of focus on like a core challenge, I guess. Unlike the originals, you know, they have more the obstacle course design. But at least the obstacles they do have are kind of challenging, like the one where it's just like dash pads and it's just this really long corridor or whatever that you have to run down. while going max speed, and then you just add a random jump in the middle.
I think the random jump because I realized, wait, this level has nothing going for it. Let's just add a random gap at the end, because why not? And then like that's it's like, all right, there we go. Now it's a level. Now it's challenging. It's like, okay, guys.
That's kind of the thing. Like the original games definitely every level had like kind of a unique identity to it. Like it was like, here's the concept and they just commit to it and they do it. And then Banana Blitz, it just feels very aimless in comparison. It's just like the levels all just kind of blend together. Like you guys are talking about certain levels where you're like, oh yeah, reversible gear. And I'm just like, oh yeah, I remember that. But if you told me like a Banana Blitz level, I'm just like,
man, I love 10
the
too.
The only level anyone remembers is 10-5. And that's because they spend half their life on it.
I don't have much to say about Banana Blitz because I don't like the whole game.
Obviously, I kind of remember a lot of the Ultra Heaven levels because they actually do have kind of an identity.
Ultra Heaven is not even that bad. Like honestly, the problem is that like
if it wasn't for 10-5, it would actually be kind of good.
Yeah, I think the best levels in Banana Blitz, like a name off the top of my head, are all from World 10. Like a lot of them have that kind of Monkey Ball 1 energy to it. Like the one with like a clock spinning. He has to jump into the hand. Like that's a good level.
Oh wait,
I like the
World
one
9
where
is
you
my
have
favorite in Banana Blitz.
I like the one where you have to like go on like you ride the platforms as they go down the track and then jump from platform to platform, and at the end you just go downhill and use that momentum to jump into the goal.
I guess this is his Banana Blitz section. I'll let Tay say some words.
It's funny because Banana Blitz is probably the one game I'm the most familiar with because well, playing it on Wii and then playing the PS4 version, you know, once the remake came out because it was the only Monkey Ball game available on modern platforms. And after playing it,
yeah, you just keep making excuses for yourself, Tay.
you know what? But at least I could say I'm familiar with the game. And then after collaborating with Ninja and like doing them all jumpless, World 9 is actually my favorite in Banana Blitz. I just like the aesthetics of the stage. I also really like just a lot of the levels there are actually like really technical. Like even without jumping, there's a decent amount of patience and precision you have to do. I'm definitely not a fan of like the earlier worlds, like 3, the snow worlds and everything, because they use snowballs and bumpers as an excuse as obstacles that you just have to like jump over. It's like here's a ton of snowballs in your face. Have fun jumping over them. And it's like, this isn't a challenge. This is just like RNG BS.
Yeah.
Like please stop. It's just pain.
Yeah, a lot of the early Banana Blitz levels, you know, at first I was wondering whether it's just because I played so much of 1 and 2 that, like, you know, anything Banana Blitz would be easy, but then I realized, no, the main problem is that they just there's nothing memorable about them at all, you know. I think Jungleistic Journey is, or whatever it's called, Jungle, whatever. You know, I think it's the worst in that area, where it's just like, can you name a single stage from Jungle?
No, really? I can't name a single stage from like any of it.
It's like, oh, here's the one where you go down a path, and it's high up. This is the one where you go down a path, and there's a couple bars that swing toward you. Whoa. Here's the one where you go down a path, but it's a bridge twice. Like, wow,
here's the one where you go down a path and you take a left turn. Here's the path with the right turn.
There's like no design. They're all just like wide open paths. It's like, wow, guys, good job.
At least Pirates Ocean I can kind of remember mostly because the boss is just
god.
No.
Let's just pretend the bosses don't exist, because we could just say, oh, that's the worst level design again.
I don't even count those as stages, to be honest.
Good level design in Monkey Ball does not include bosses. Just keep that shit away.
I think bosses could work. Depends on how they do it.
It very much depends, because it's how they did that. Because
bosses could work.
The problem is all the bosses in Monkey Ball Banana Blitz just resort to using your jump, you know?
Yeah.
I feel like if you had more creative ways of doing it, then, like, you know, you could make good bosses. I think a good example of that, I guess it's the obvious example, is the World 4's boss with the dinosaur or whatever, where you have to climb on its back and get to its head while dodging obstacles.
Do we count these as stages? Like, I don't know. Like, I don't know if we really count. I don't even know if this is relevant to discussion. Like, the bosses are just like the worst part about that game entirely.
I mean, it's more just the concept of they could do it if they wanted to.
They could do it because they could implement bosses in stages, I think.
Yeah, like I think like a good idea for that could be like, let's say it's like a T-Rex boss. It's like, oh, it's like stomping around the ground, right? But like you have to go to like these safe zones, like that's like holes in the ground to dodge like the stomping. You know, something like Banjo-Tooie or something had. But like, it's like a Monkey Ball stage. Like something like that could kind of work. It was like, oh, did they hit like a tree branch to knock it down and hit the boss? Like I don't know, something like that could work as long as it's like basically like a stage disguised as a boss rather than a boss disguised as a stage, like in Banana Blitz, it would work a lot better.
Yeah, I think also as long as they stay as like part of the adventure part of the game,
not in challenge mode.
Like this isn't part of the not a challenge mode. This is just part of the adventure mode. Just for plot and story and whatnot. And then the core stages don't get touched.
I mean, that's pretty much what we have to say about that topic, to be honest.
I don't know, that was Banana Blitz, in summary of Banana Blitz, best stage in the game is the bird stage. With
the wind that's used one
winds,
time in the entire game.
The wind that's used one time, which is actually a callback to Sega Monkey Ball on J2.
Man, I expected, what?
The best part.
All we need now is ice floors.
Yeah, we need ice floors and mud.
Mud's in 3D. So
is it? Okay,
so that one got you covered.
There we go. Are there any other stages or anything that we find particularly interesting?
What's the
noteworthy to talk about?
Monkey Ball Engage stage? Okay.
And that's a wrap.
Yeah, when we start mentioning Engage, that's when we're
time
running
to
out.
abort once you mention Engage.
Time to abort for the next 3 months until we make another episode. So thank you all for watching. Thank you all for watching, and we'll see you next time.
Eat more potassium.
And until next time, and remember what EiEi said. It's not the monkey that's super. No, it's not the ball that's super. It's the monkey inside. I
don't think you remembered what he said.
Okay, let me re-record this. So thank you all for watching. We'll be back in 10 years for episode 15. And remember, as the great EiEi once said, it's not the ball that's super, it's the monkey inside. Thanks for watching, guys. Thanks, Sega Danny, by the way. No.